Guys, I've got another new house to introduce to you today, JCB. Are you familiar with JCB? JCB is based out of Northern California in wine country, Napa Valley, and JCB is named after Jean-Charles Boisset. He's a vintner, winemaker, and he's from France, but based out of Northern California, wine country, as I said. So JCB has 5 fragrances, and I'm going to talk to you about these 5 fragrances. The fragrances are created by 3 different perfumers. 2 are created by Olivia Giacobetti. 1 is created by Bertrand Duchaufour, and the last 2 are created by Marc-Antoine Corticchiato. I got to meet with Jean-Charles Boisset. We shot a couple of videos, one for their social channels and one for this channel, and the way I'm going to do this video is talk about the 5 fragrances, put them in a rank list of my least favorite to my most favorite, but on top of that, the brand is giving away 3 full bottles to subscribers of this channel from the USA. They can only ship to the USA. So if you're curious to learn about JCB fragrances, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yes, today we're talking about JCB fragrances. Are you familiar with this house? This was a fairly new house to me up until earlier this year when I learned about the brand. Although I kind of knew about the winery, just never really paid attention because I hadn't been to Napa Valley for a while, and you know, we had COVID and things like that. I wasn't traveling around there, but I got to go to the tasting room. They have a tasting room in Yountville. If you're ever in San Francisco and you have a day or two to go to the wine country, definitely go there. It's an hour from San Francisco, like approximately an hour, and you can go and do some really wonderful wine tasting, and they have some amazing wines, really delicious. I'll put some of that footage here in this video as well with me tasting some of the wines, and I also have a link to their video that you can go catch as well, me talking about perfumes and wines and things like that with Jean-Charles Boisset. So the fragrances are like this. As you can see, this is the beautiful purplish bottle. We've got one that's all black here, right there. This is a green one, beautiful green bottle. This is the one that's created by Bertrand Duchaufour. There's one fragrance created by Bertrand Duchaufour. This one is created by Marc-Antoine Corticchiato. And then this is a Olivia Giacobetti fragrance. Are you guys familiar with Olivia Giacobetti? She does really well woody and incense fragrances. If you don't know her, check her fragrances out. Why don't we go ahead and get started with the first fragrance, and at number 5, I'm going to talk to you about number 8, Antoinette. So this is number 8, Antoinette, that's what it's called. And there are different random numbers. I don't know where the numbers come from really, but that's this particular fragrance, number 8, Antoinette. And I believe Antoinette is named after one of Jean-Charles Boiset's daughter. So this is a fragrance created by Marc-Antoine Corticchiato. I put it down at the bottom. This is my least favorite of the fragrances. It was powdery and fruity at the same time, and there's kind of like candied fragrance styling in here, like an experience. Like you've got rose in here, you've got blackcurrant, there's wine lees, saffron, tobacco, there's hay, oud and leather, but very, very powdery. I almost feel like there's also iris here or some kind of a powdery note to kind of give it a bit of a make a powdery effect to the fragrance, because it's got that very you know, powdery touch that when you have all these notes together along with the fruits and the rose, there's definitely this kind of a presence of light makeup touch here. But definitely the idea of candy is here, like a hard candy with some fruitiness that, you know, as a kid you used to suck on when, you know, you had access to all these candies and things like that. But eventually the fragrance does have some masculine touches as well. When you first spray it, it's more of a floral, more of a feminine fragrance, but the fragrance becomes leathery, woody, and of course tobacco-ish as well. Definitely the leather appears. I put it down here at the bottom. It's not that it's a bad fragrance. I wasn't feeling this particular fragrance as much as the rest of the collection. But for now, I would put number 8, Antoinette, at number 5 from the collection of 5 fragrances by JCB. And going back to the idea of you guys going to the tasting room at JCB in Yountville, those of you that are in the Northern California area, or if you're visiting here, highly, highly recommend it. The tasting room is amazing, really amazing, and the wines are really amazing as well. They've got this amazing room that's a tasting room with this beautiful wall and ceiling. Kind of feels like you're walking into maybe like Marie Antoinette's kind of room or something, because it's got this beautiful painting. But there's also this perfume organ there. There are all these different ingredients and samples, and of course the fragrances are there. You can sample them. They not only have the fragrances for the body, but they also have home sprays, and there's also all kinds of gifts and things like that you can buy there as well, in addition to the tasting. I think it's mostly about the tasting there, but the perfumes are really, really great, and you can go check those out as well. Alrighty, up next, this is the first fragrance that the brand launched, created by Olivia Giacobetti. It's #0, this one, JCB #0, Olivia Giacobetti, and it features notes of cumin, damp soil, ginger, green grapevine, oak barrel, rum, smoked oak, and vanilla. So when you smell this particular fragrance, if you know Olivia Giacobetti's style, you will definitely be reminded of her style here. This is total Olivia Giacobetti, her style, her fragrances for Yunks. If you know that store at the Hotel Coste in Paris, those were all created by Olivia Giacobetti. If you like those fragrances, you're going to definitely like this. If you like some fragrances that she's done for L'Artisan Parfumeur with incense and white flowers, or if you are into the idea of NARS Audacious, the fragrance that she's created, you're going to really dig this particular fragrance. This is all dark woods. There's definitely smokiness here as well. I feel like there's incense running throughout the fragrance, and there's also a cumin-y touch, very spicy touch. I guess I also get a bit of leather in here as well because of all the different notes combined together, but it's a very dark fragrance, just like the bottle, all black. And if you like the idea of these kind of dark, woody, smoky, incensey, spicy, and of course I would say ambery as well, because it will settle to a bit of an amber, and you're gonna like this particular one. I actually have a friend who is a big fan of Olivia Giacobetti. When they came over to smell this particular fragrance, they absolutely fell in love with it because they're also fans of Yunks. So if you are a fan, check it out. For me, it was too dark, and also very smoky, woody, and it wasn't as exciting for me, but I much prefer it over the last fragrance, so that's why I'm putting #0 at #4. But again, as I said, you might dig this one more than me. Next three, or the top three, are really top-notch fragrances, so I really love them. They really wear great, and we're gonna start with the third, #3, with #11, Joséphine. So this is the one that's created by Bertrand Duchaufour. This to me is citruses come to life. Just big, bright, juicy, sparkly, very effervescent, very drippy citruses. Big, juicy is coming to mind a lot with this one. Sparkling, just really luscious citruses here. We've got blood orange, we've got bergamot, lavender, there's some spices of cardamom, some floral touches with magnolia and muguet, which is lily of the valley. There's sandalwood, clary sage, and musk. For me, this particular fragrance is perfect in the heat. If you're in Napa Valley and you are going there in the summertime when it gets really hot and dry, you walk into their winery, go to the fragrance section and check this one out, because it smells super fantastic. As I said, it's very juicy citruses, and the idea of drippy citruses comes to mind, because when you wear this one, you really experience the juiciness of the citruses. Just imagine taking a lemon or an orange and you're squeezing it. It's gotten so ripe, it's just full of juice. And, when you're juicing it, all the drippings go all over the place. And that's how this one wears. But I think it's a combination, for me at least, it's a combination of sweet and tart together. And I like my citruses like that. I do enjoy tartness quite a bit. It's really great, but I do enjoy kind of balance with the sweetness and tartness. And I think that Bertrand Duchaufour has done a great job with this one. And this one, actually, Joséphine, is named after another one of Jean-Charles Boiset's daughters. So we had two different fragrances, as I said, that are named after the daughters, these two fragrances. So recommend this one for sure. It's definitely a great citrus, but I put it here at #3. I do enjoy the other two a little more, and the other two that I'm going to talk about, #1 and #2, they're definitely kind of competing with one another as to how much I enjoy them. Alright, up next at #2, we're going to 100% Amour, this one right here. This is the second and final fragrance created by Marc-Antoine Corticchiato. Are you guys a fan of Marc-Antoine Corticchiato? He has the brand Parfum d'Empire, and I'm a big fan of his creations. And in fact, I just recently picked up a few of his creations for his own brand, Parfum d'Empire, which I'll talk about later. But this one, he's done a really, really great job with it. And also reminds me of a classic fragrance. It's a bit vintage smelling. So 100% Amour features notes of bergamot, vine leaf, narcissus, cashmere, vanilla, and tonka beans. So it's got kind of this very ambery touch here with kind of like freshness around it. Bergamot is very, very prominent here. It freshens up the fragrance. You've got these kind of musky touches in here as well with vanillic undertones. Vanilla, tonka beans, a bit tobacco-ish. You've got a bit of bitter almond in here as well, and then vine leaf. A very, very unique combination of notes. But you know what it reminds me of? It takes me back to the fragrances of Cartier called Musk de Cartier. So it kind of has that kind of a styling. So if you like that particular collection of or series of fragrances from Cartier, you're really going to like this one. And this one actually comes with the most beautiful blood red bottle as well. In fact, I think my top three are my most favorite bottles. The green one, the red one. Let's see if I can do this without dropping them, and then of course number one will be the one I'll talk about next. But the top three are the best smells and also the best looking bottles for me as well. And 100% Amour just totally has that very, very vintage vibe, very warm, very spicy, but citrusy as well, and vanillic and sweet and woody and musky. A really delicious fragrance. Check that out, 100% Amour. And then moving on to the last fragrance at number one, it's number 13, the fragrance that I really, really love from this house. Although 100% Amour is kind of competing with number 13, so maybe it'll take over the number one spot soon. But JCB number 13, created by Olivia Giacobetti, is super great. So for me, these two fragrances are like complete opposites, but they almost seem like they're opposites of one another. Like we've got the dark version and the bright version kind of a thing. That's why we've got these two bottles. One's very dark, one's very clear. As you can see, I've used quite a bit of this one because it smells so fantastic when I wear it. And once again with this one and Olivia Giacobetti and the fragrances of Yunks and things like that, totally reminds me of her signature touch. But this one, as I said, it's much fresher, much brighter, not as dense and dark as the other one, the one with a black bottle, the number 0. But this features notes of rosewood, geranium, oak, sandalwood, benzoin, vanilla. But once again with this one, it feels like there's something fresh and sandalwoody in here. Well, of course there is sandalwood as a note in here, but also there's a bit of a smoky undertone in here that is not listed. And I feel like we've got the benzoin, which is a resin, and the oak, so it kind of creates like an incensey vibe in here. We also have the rosewood, so perhaps it's these three different notes creating this kind of like incense smoke that's contrasted with like a lot of freshness in here as well. I feel like there's definitely some citruses in here, which are pretty non-distinct citruses, so most likely some kind of a very non-distinct bergamot note in here. But it's got the sweetness, it's got that kind of woodiness as well, and of course, as I said, I also feel like I'm getting like a little bit of an incensey touch contrasted with all the freshness and the sweet, warm, vanillic touches that are in here with the vanilla and the benzoin. But really, really wonderful fragrance. Really love wearing this one. It smells fantastic on me. I think this deserves the number 1 spot. This is number 13 from the house of JCB. And that's the last fragrance I'm going to talk to you about today. Let me know if you've sampled the fragrances from JCB. I'd like to find out if you've seen them anywhere, or if you've gotten your nose on any of them anywhere. Do also let me know if you haven't, if you're curious to try these fragrances. What do you think of these beautiful bottles? Let me know. As you can see, the bottles here, the green and the red one. But I also want to show you quickly the boxes, just so you have an understanding of how they look. Really beautiful presentation, but kind of simplistic and minimalistic. And as you can see, the red one goes in here, 100% Amour. And it's in there perfectly, and yeah. This is JCB fragrances. Let's move on to the giveaway now. The giveaway will be 3 different bottles to 3 different subscribers, and the bottles of your choice, subscribers of this channel from the USA. Let me know which fragrance sounds the best to you, and also let me know why you want to win. And please like this video, and of course make sure you're subscribed. Also please check out the JCB Instagram account that I have links to, and also Jean-Charles Boiset's Instagram account. There are 2 different accounts. Last but not least, if you're visiting the area, definitely go check out the tasting room in Yountville, California. I recently stayed there. Great restaurants, great food, lots of wine. So I'm a big wine drinker. I love my red wines, and of course I also love perfume. So I think this is a great combo. Perfume and wine go hand in hand. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video, please share it, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.